air, water, earth, fire. For hundreds of years, the four nations have lived in harmony. The Avatar, master of all four elements, was always responsible for maintaining the peace. But Avatar Roku passed away 13 years ago. Now, the four nations look to the air nomads to reveal the next Avatar, but the world is met with silence. Rumors from the Earth Kingdom abound that the Fire Nation is planning an aggressive move into the Earth Kingdom. 5 young heroes were too late to save the Southern Air Temple, but hold vital information that could save the Earth Kingdom, and maybe even save the world.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the first episode of the Flying Bison Podcast. If you're listening to this, it's already too late. We're in your ear, we're in your house, and we're just, getting comfy, making a sandwich on your couch. But now that we've committed just a little light B&E, we should probably introduce ourselves. We are, as I said, the Flying Bison Podcast. We are the first campaign Avatar podcast using the Avatar Legends rules created by Magpie Games. I'm Justin Nita, your GM and storyteller for this little venture, and with me, I'm surrounded by some of my good friends and family. I'll go around the horn, ask you for your names. I want your name. I want your history with Avatar and tabletop role-playing, and since we now occupy a space in our listeners' brain, like a good roommate boundary to set up now. Up first, we've got Danny Wickman.
Doing good, Justin. How are you?
Introduce yourselves for the listeners.
So, my name's Danny Wickman. I was introduced to Avatar as it was coming out. I was watching the episodes as they were being streamed on good old Nickelodeon, and my entire family was basically in love with it, so long-time fan. I started playing tabletop RPGs with Justin, actually. We were introduced to the Pathfinder role-playing games, and we've pretty much just been in love with them ever since. And yeah, I'm excited to be here with you guys, and I'm excited to start playing.
Awesome. We're gonna hop over to my good friend Steve Derrigan. Steve.
Hey. Awesome to be here. I'm just so curious, what is a roommate boundary? What am I supposed to say for that?
Oh yeah, you gotta. Well, like when you live with someone, you gotta set up boundaries.
For sure.
Don't eat my yogurt, like the other food I buy at the grocery store.
Oh, like since we broke and entered our listeners' homes, like that, like a boundary with them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Well, I
Are
guess
there boundaries
boundary...
after a B&E? I mean, I think we've already...
we kind of broken the boundary.
Is it a little late for the boundary?
They didn't specifically set up that boundary that we couldn't do that.
Oh, you're right, yeah.
This
is why you need to set these boundaries.
Yeah, now that we're there, we need
to
stay civil.
Yep, exactly. We're already
okay,
here.
Well,
you can't kick us out. Statute of limitations.
If there's a Greek yogurt in the fridge, I would love for our hosts to save me some. Just some. That's all I ask. I feel like
just leave it out for Steve.
Yeah.
Your Greek yogurt,
my history with Avatar, I watched Avatar on Nickelodeon. Not the whole thing, but season 1 when I was a kid, when it first aired. And some shows are forgettable, but this one was not. I'm sure everybody will agree. It definitely left a mark on me that shaped kind of my thinking about story and magic and fantasy. And so I was so excited to watch all of it and Korra a few years back, and then finishing up actually during the pandemic height, the peak of it. So I had plenty of time to catch up on shows and could not believe what I had been missing for the rest of that for so long. So really love it and happy to be doing something in that universe.
Beautiful. Danny, what is your boundary?
I have to mention that, don't I? My roommate boundary. I guess I appreciate alone time, so I guess my boundary would be no constant hovering.
Okay. Yeah.
Let me come into your house and then give me
Give me
space.
space, man.
Leave me alone.
When I'm there, I want everyone to leave the room.
I love it. All right.
So demanding.
Up next, we've got Johnny Button.
Hey, yeah,
His
I'm
new
Johnny.
Recent haircut.
Yeah. So I'm Johnny, like Justin said. I did recently cut my hair. It was long and now it is not. And I first watched Avatar when it aired on Nickelodeon when I was 15, and watched Legend of Korra when that was coming out. And like Steve, recently rewatched it in the pandemic, introduced my wife to it, and she loved it, and we're getting ready to watch through again. Started playing tabletop RPGs when I was in college and never ever stopped. And as far as roommate boundaries go, I would say if there's leftovers that I put in the fridge, they are almost all fair game. But if there's Chinese, don't touch it or we'll have a problem.
That's a big deal. Yeah.
It is one of the best takeout you can get, I think. For
In
sure.
terms of leftovers?
Not
or-
everything ages well as takeout. Yeah.
Mhm. I'd also put Indian food
I
up
was
there.
just going to say.
Indian food takeout.
Mhm.
Yeah.
High reheat value.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah, if you do it right, sometimes Chinese and Indian are better the second day.
Mm-hmm. Agreed. All right. Up next, we've got Monroe. Monroe, how's it going?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm happy to be here. I'm happy this is happening. And I just want to have fun with you guys.
Me too.
Man, it's a good thing Monroe asked that, because no one would have asked Justin how he was doing.
Yeah, I wasn't even thinking about how Justin is doing.
I would have selfishly introduced myself again at the end of this and answered my own question. So I just
To be
thank you,
fair,
Monroe, for asking.
Danny
I did.
ask,
I
Justin
did.
just
That's
didn't
fine.
really respond.
Danny doesn't count, though.
Just the brother.
I just kind of ignore what Danny says most of the time.
He can't help it. It's intrinsic at this point.
Well, I'm Monroe, and I have little to barely any history with Avatar. I did watch the movie many years ago, was not impressed, and I have been told that that is okay. And that's why I
is
never
more than
really had
okay.
any interest in watching the cartoons. But I was introduced to this podcast, and I started binging Avatar: The Last Airbender on Netflix. And I actually started Korra at the same time, and I realized it was a sequel, so I thought, okay, I'm going to put this on hold, and I'll just kind of go through this the way I'm supposed to. But I'm really enjoying it so far. I'm a big Katara fan. And I don't have any history with RPG tabletop games. I mean, I played Dungeons and Dragons, like maybe in my late teens, so that's probably a good decade ago by now. So, yep, I'm the noob here. So thanks for allowing me to be a part of the group. As far as my roommate boundary goes, I don't care if you leave the toilet seat up. Just make sure that it's wiped. I don't want any little drips on it or anything like that. Just be
Yes.
That's
We
it.
know this
And
is
nothing on
your
the ground
house.
either. Nothing on the ground either. I don't want to walk trick.
Oh my god.
I don't
If
want to drag
only
any.
our listeners could see the
drops.
guilty look on Nick's
Guilty. It was disgust. Jeez. I've just dealt with that before, and it's been really
Okay,
bad.
Nick.
All right.
Called
Cover
out.
up.
Me thinks the gentleman.
All right, come on. It's least
I
for last.
believe
Let's go. It's my turn. Thank you, Steve.
Speaking of flecks of urine on the toilet seat, Nick, how you doing?
I'm here, and everybody's a little uncomfortable because I'm here, and that's fair. Just like the flex me in. But I mean, I watched a little bit of Avatar as it was coming out. Didn't have cable, so I only saw like bits and pieces of it at like friend's house. But I loved it, and I was enamored immediately. And the moment I figured out like how to watch things illegally. I absolutely didn't watch Avatar illegally. and I would never do that.
We don't condone
No
that.
one should ever do such a
We
thing.
don't condone.
Obviously, I waited until later in life and I had the resources to buy the entire series for myself and watch it many, many times. And thus, I have watched it many times. And over the pandemic, I got to share it with my fiance, and we just started rewatching it again. I was just watching it before this podcast, so yeah, really like Avatar. Also have a lot of experience with tabletop RPGs. Kind of brought my friends into it around the same time that Danny did. It was really ironic. We both kind of brought a mutual friend into the game, or into the genre, from different directions at the same time. So yeah, no,
Nice.
very excited to play.
Well, we're all excited to be here. We're excited to play Avatar Legends. It's a new game. It's just the quick start rules at this point. The Kickstart is happening, I believe, until the beginning of September. And then in February or March, somewhere at the beginning of 2022 is when the full rules will be released. But in between then and now, we're going to be using the quick start rules. You know, I might make up a few rules and we'll have to change some things come the rule book coming out, but we'll make it work. Like I said, I'm Justin. I'm going to be the storyteller. I watched Avatar when I was in high school, and I think I watched it again like immediately in college, and I think that's around the same time Korra came out. So like, I know for most of us, we're that target demographic of like, we were like adolescent preteens when we watched Avatar The Last Airbender, and then we became young adults when we were watching Korra. So there's sort of almost that like Toy Story-ian movement of like relating with the cast and characters, and so it's just, I love both of the shows. I also rewatched the whole series again in the pandemic, and I found a new appreciation for Korra. It's a fun show.
It is.
Today we're gonna just do it'll be chill. We're gonna do a little campaign creation, a little character creation. We want everyone who's listening to get the full Avatar Legends experience. So we haven't discussed what we're doing campaign wise or even really character wise before this. We've had a couple like loose ideas shot around, but we haven't had any discussion of settling in on like this is the campaign and the era that we're going to be in. These are the characters we're playing. So you're going to listen to us do that live, which I'm hoping will be fun. So the first thing you do is that we're going to do is we're going to set up our campaign. Essentially, we're all going to collaboratively sort of set the boundaries of the narrative that we want to tell. And the first thing that we got to do is choose which era we're going to play in. So I'm just going to read real quickly the 5 eras. There's Avatar Kyoshi, which if we want to play there, we're going to be fighting against rogues and bandits and deal with corruption as the nations defend and reinforce their borders. We can play in the Avatar Roku era, and that's if we want to deal with tensions that arise amidst an era of cultural redefinition and nationalist expansion. Then there's the 100 Years War era. We'll play in that if we want to rebel against an unjust rule, protect the weak, and stand up to tyranny. And then we've got the 2 probably most familiar eras, which is Avatar Aang. And that's going to take place right after, I believe, the Imbalance comic arc. We can play around with that. It doesn't have to be right after that. We can decide where in the Avatar Aang area we want to play. But essentially, it takes place after the show and after a few other things. And then we've got the Avatar Korra era, and that's also going to take place after the Korra TV show. So Monroe will probably get some spoilers by playing. You know, if we decide to do one of those eras, there'll be a little bit of spoilery stuff with those 2 eras. But I'm really open to discussing what everybody wants to do. I'll put my hat in the ring first. There's 2 supplements that are coming out for this game. There's going to be a Republic City supplement and a Spirit World supplement. And both of those are going to be, you know, in the Korra era, those are both going to show up a lot. There's a little bit of Republic City at the end of Avatar Aang, but it's not the Republic City you see in Korra. And then the Spirit World will be pretty relevant to any era we play. So now I cede the floor to the group. What are we thinking? What are the thoughts?
100 Years War.
Yeah, I was kind of.
Yeah, I personally, I lean toward the 100-Year War as well. I feel like that's the one that we kind of get to see the least of in the shows, and so it's the one I'm most interested in exploring right now.
Yeah, I was about to say something like that too.
It's also
Gives us
the
a
one
lot of
that we
room to
can.
tell.
Yeah, sorry, I was going to say probably the same thing you were, which is it probably gives us the most amount of room to do non-canon-y things without breaking the canon.
Well, there's the least amount of canon, so there's not much to argue with us. So
Prove a fine point.
I think the benefit of that is that there's also like a framing of familiarity. Like I can get my head around the 100 Years War, at least in simple terms. Whereas like I haven't checked out the Shadow of Kyoshi novel. I feel like I would want to do that before I play Kyoshi's era. Otherwise, it just feels like complete mystery to me. I don't know if everybody else has info on it or got the scoop, but I do not have the scoop.
I'm in the same place.
Yeah.
And even with Roku's, it feels kind of like you kind of just get a glimpse of Roku's era at the end of his life. And then I'm sure there's like other like side materials that show more, but at least with the 100 Years War, we pretty much know what's going on. You know,
We know what it feels like, roughly.
Fire Nation's attacking everybody. It's a rough time. All the airbenders are dead.
So for those who, like Monroe, might be unfamiliar with the 100 Years War, there's this space between when Avatar Roku dies and when Avatar Aang starts, the TV show, Avatar The Last Airbender. And it's this period of conquest by the Fire Nation and imperialism known as the 100 Years War. End of that war is when Avatar Aang comes back. So we're going to be playing in this time period when there is no Avatar. He has mysteriously vanished and no one is sure what happened to him. That is fun. Okay, so the 100 Years War. The next thing we have to do when you're doing Avatar Legends and playing with a group, we've picked our era, we gotta choose our scope. And the scope can be anything as narrow as like a single Fire Nation temple or as large as the entire world. So just to give you some context, the Avatar The Last Airbender, the whole show has a very large context. They're going all around the world, especially as you look throughout the 3 series. In Korra, the first season's a little bit narrower scope because she's pretty much just in Republic City. So that gives you kind of an idea of the difference between it. I'm totally open to whatever. I think for some even just entertainment purposes, exploring a larger scope would be more fun. I think in a podcast form, it just gives us a lot more material to work off of.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think that doing the largest scope and kind of having the whole world to play with in the 100-Year War context, there's so much happening in the world at this time in the Avatar lore that I feel like it would almost feel like we're missing things if we don't have the ability to kind of go everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, let's do it.
Here's a GM question. Then. Like, if say we chose a smaller scope, like just one step smaller, and we're in Ba Sing Se, which is huge, right? Earth Kingdom City, and you're just going all over the place. But then something in the story develops, and it's like, we all need to leave. Like there's good cause to go wider now. If we had decided the scope in advance, is there any issue with that?
Absolutely not. So what that would probably signal is, in not only fiction terms but in game terms, it would be a new season of our Avatar show, right? That would, if something was introduced that was forcing us to leave the places that we were, it's probably a good clue that there's some new threat and a new season needs to start. But yeah, so we can do the whole world, and even in Avatar The Last Airbender, the true scope of like the first season is a little bit more limited, right? Like it's pretty much just the water tribes, right? He's going from the south to the north to learn waterbending, and then you see when he needs to learn earthbending in season 2, that's that change of scope, right? He's got to go somewhere else. So yeah, we can play around with it, but I definitely think for now let's focus on the whole world, and we'll see where that takes us. I'm gonna love it. All right, and then if you are looking on that Google Sheets we've got on the campaign tab, we've got to pick our group focus. The group focus is the thing that binds and unites all of your characters together. It's something that no one of you can handle on your own. It's something that requires all 5 of you to address. This is going to be sort of the main focus of the first season of our show, essentially. It could be a multi-season thing. So, for instance, in The Last Airbender, the group focus of the whole show is to defeat the Fire Lord. And then each season's got its own smaller focus of, learning water bending, learning earth bending, learning fire bending. Korra has a different focus each season. She's got, to defeat Amon in the first season, and then Tarlok in the second season, and then, then on from there. So we got to pick our group focus. We've got a few options. We've got to defeat a villain, to protect a place, idea, culture, person, or thing, to change culture, society, place, person, to deliver person or thing to place, culture, or person, to rescue person or thing, or to learn idea, culture, training, or history.
I vote deliver.
Ooh, any specific ideas, Monroe?
No, because I'm still new to this, but I'm just throwing something in there.
Yeah, the deliver would.
Cool.
I feel like in the 100-Year War era, deliver or protect might work pretty well. Because I was also considering if one of us it happens to choose one of us were to play as an airbender, then that player could be the focus of delivery or protection, which would be very interesting.
So the start of the 100 Years' War started with Sozin's comment, so named because he used it, using it to assault all the air temples and annihilate all the airbenders. But at the same time, he started his assault on all the nations. And this is also pre any sort of communications technology. So what if our delivery was the news that all of the airbenders were dead?
Very interesting.
What if we had to tell all of the nations and all of the disparate groups of people, like, hey,
Nah, they're not going to believe
their
us.
nomads are gone.
Yeah. Yeah,
We're
tell
gonna have
them not
to be
only are
kids
the air
talking to
nomads gone,
adults.
but the Fire Nation's coming.
Yep.
Yes.
And Rogue One, the Avatar plotline.
We can Paul Revere it.
And it would have a sense of depth to it, because it's not like you just bring that to the first village and you're good to go. Like,
Yeah.
you have to persuade people, and particularly people in power, to do something about it and take you seriously. And that could involve a bunch of things like, we don't believe it till we see it. We need evidence. So there's definitely a story thread there that we could pull.
Yeah,
And
and,
also,
there are
yeah.
pieces that are canon, that we'd have to work around about how the different nations reacted to that. But that would, I think, be really interesting to try and play with, of like, as players knowing how those nations are going to react to the news, but as characters not.
Yeah.
Is there maybe like a single place, or instead of just to deliver the news about the air nomads to everywhere, is there some place or person you have in mind?
Who better than the Earth King?
Okay.
We have
I was
tell
gonna say, if our scope is bossing, say, then the Earth King. If we're wanting to do the global scope, then maybe just each of the capitals other than Fire Nations.
Well, perhaps depending on what we come up with in our inciting incident, perhaps you guys are far from the Earth Nation. Or maybe you're on the south side of it and have to traverse a good deal of the Earth Kingdom.
I'm just wondering if I weren't from the Air Temple, why I would be near enough to witness a Fire Nation attack.
That is a question I think we will discover as we keep talking.
Yeah. What am I doing at the Air Temple? Because I want to be from the Earth Kingdom.
So
the Air Temple's... Oh, sorry. Continue.
Oh, sorry. Our
As far as I can tell...
focus.
Oh, sorry.
Oh my god, Nick.
I'm just gonna shut up. Just go.
This isn't an Avatar lore podcast. We're trying to play a game.
I understand. I'm sorry.
So we've got our 100 Years of War campaign that's exploring the whole world of the four nations. But specifically, the group focus is to deliver news of the destruction of the air nomads to the Earth King. That is sort of our overarching purpose, but now we've got to set up what's called our inciting incident. Think of this as the plot of our first episode. This is our pilot episode of our Avatar show. So we're not going to necessarily play it out role-playing wise, but we're going to set it up, and then our campaign will take place after that. So the first thing we got to pick is there's going to be 3 acts, and we'll have to try and weave all of our decisions together in sort of a narrative that flows. But we got to pick one check from each act. So in our first act, we befriend an ally who gives us access to valuable item. We can discover a secret hidden by a powerful figure. We did something fun but drew the ire of powerful figure in the process, or we learn the frightening plans of a powerful foe. What stands out to people? What's grabbing you?
I mean, if we're talking about seeing or witnessing the destruction of the air temple, then that would be learning of frightening plans as the inciting incident. Like that could drive a lot of Act 1. Maybe we're close enough that we just need to get to safety. That's one possibility.
Yeah, we also don't need to be like literally present for the fall of the air temple, right? Like we could just stumbled on it or stumbled on somebody who did see it. So
true.
Just to make that easier.
Could come across, a refugee or something.
Yeah, a dying airbender at this last breath.
That's right. The second to last airbender.
The second to last.
His last line should be like, "I'm the last airbender," and then
No, you're not.
How wrong you are.
Silly guy.
But anybody have other ideas for Act 1?
No, I think that is personally. I think that's probably in my mind, the best inciting
Makes the
incident,
most
like
sense.
learning the frightening plans. I think we could play around with what was going on, like maybe, not necessarily a refugee or something like that, which it could be. Maybe only one of us was there, or maybe we were, at the Glacier Spirits Festival in the Southern Water Kingdom and on our way back somewhere else, and saw them hit the Southern Air Temple or something like that. Like there's any number of reasons we could have seen it.
I love
I
it.
like it.
Sorry, my internet cut out for a second there. So we're going with learn the frightening plans of a powerful foe. Is that?
That's right. Powerful foe being, unfortunately, the Fire Nation.
Can we actually let's personalize it a little bit more than just the general Fire Nation? Did you perhaps learn maybe of a specific Fire Nation general that was sort of in charge of
that's
taking
on his
out
way
the air nomads?
to attack the Earth
On
Nation?
his way?
Because it's very unlikely that they simultaneously attacked every nation like at the same time. Their primary focus would have been the air nomads.
Okay, so we're saying that this powerful foe took out the air nomads, and you discovered that they're going to take out or attack the Earth Kingdom.
Yes. I caught the last part of what you said, but I missed.
Yeah, you're cutting out a ton.
Oh
Yeah.
man, I'm trying to simultaneously pause all the devices that are on our Wi-Fi so I can hog all the Wi-Fi. I guess it's time to just bump up our internet speed. Sorry, Abby.
That's a fun conversation. We need more money for my podcast.
You can expense that out, right?
Eventually, yeah. That would be the hope. Okay, so we're saying that you've discovered the plans of the Fire Nation general who was maybe in charge or a huge part of taking out the Air Nomads, and is now on his way to start attacking the Earth Kingdom as well. Is that what we're saying?
Yes.
Does anyone have a name for this person?
I'm gonna be real honest. A bunch of vulgarities immediately jumped to my mind, and I'm just gonna keep them to myself.
I have a Fire Nation name generator open right now, and one of them is Shy.
Shy?
Doesn't really strike me in the hearts of men.
No.
That's exactly
Not for the English speaker, but it is cool.
General Zoe.
Is that too close to Zhao?
Yeah,
a little close to
Zhao. I'm looking at female names too.
Okay.
General Shan.
Yep.
Unaru.
Ah. I kind of like Shan.
Shan would be cool.
Do it.
I think it'd be cool too if it was a female general.
Izalu.
Oh, I saw that one too.
I got the generator open too.
You gotta have a Fire Nation name generator.
One of the female
They
one of the
actually have one for
female
every nation.
one of the female Fire Nation names is She. SHE.
There's another one, CHYH. I don't know if that's the same
YH.
pronunciation.
Shy.
Yeah. I don't know
Maybe
if
I
it's
think
Shy.
Shan would be cool.
Shy. Yeah, I like Shy.
Don't worry, we can always make more Fire Nation people who will attack us.
I think she would be fun just because we could just have a bunch of really dumb jokes about pronouns. But maybe we
She's
just combine
coming.
that.
Who's coming? She's on her way.
She's almost
here. Who is? Who's almost here?
I think maybe we can get those out of the way now
Yeah. Let's just not.
so that we can avoid parodying language jokes from the English perspective as much as possible.
Or Asano.
Asana.
But I do like she.
I do like.
It's kind of hard not to.
Oh, it's catching on now.
It's too late
I
now.
liked it the moment he said it, but
Goodbye,
you do bring up a
Shan.
good point about the whole making fun of it. So
It'll be a driving
We're-
force.
I mean, if it
behind
already
most
happened-
of the jokes throughout our episodes. So
We're gonna get sucked in the whole time. If it's happening now, we're gonna be like, oh, I can't resist.
We gotta do it now. It's just, we have to, it has to be she.
they're gonna
yeah, I feel like there's at least going to be 4 of us who are
we're gonna have to
gonna-
edit out like 3/4 of the she jokes.
Probably.
Well, that'll be most of the podcast. We're gonna need to record some extra sessions.
It's one of the risks that always accompanies the rule of cool. But why is it cool?
I just got the name So Mean. SOMEEN. It's a good name for a villain.
Ooh,
So mean.
That is
General So Mean.
so mean. Yeah,
This feels like
that
a
is-
throwback to playing Dynasty Warriors for like all of my upbringing. I just could not resist jokes about all the characters. I couldn't pronounce their names. Now I feel like such a jerk.
That's fair.
Turns out it's Sow or something close to it instead of cow. Like I was calling everybody cow, cow this, cow that. And I thought I was hilarious.
Hey, I didn't know either because I was also playing those games.
Yeah. Have you watched the
Yeah.
Dynasty Warriors movie on Netflix?
No.
Why would you?
It's just as terrible as you might expect, but it's
Oh
there.
no. Is it just as hack and slashy?
Mm-hmm.
Like people just flying around, a ton of
I mean,
nameless,
they-
identityless peasants that are unfortunately enlisted in someone else's war and get hit 1,000 miles.
They did an incredible job of maintaining the aesthetic and like general feel of the game,
Okay.
but that is also not great for a movie. It's a great
I think it
game
could be.
mechanic.
But it might
has
not have
probably
worked out.
potential.
I don't know. I think personally some of those mechanics that are fun when you have a controller in your hand get real dumb when you don't.
Do they only have the same 4 moves for the entire movie? Because that would be awesome.
Real fast. Podcast. Justin, you have returned, our hero.
I have,
Yes.
and I have sent a very strongly worded email to Xfinity.
I'm sure they'll do
Sorry,
something.
to unnamed internet provider.
Gotta shake him down.
Oh man.
Give me what you owe me, Xfinity.
Fine. Yeah, seriously. All
Not a
right.
sponsor.
Well, we'll make this work. So general shade jokes.
She.
She.
Oh, we're going with she, yeah.
SHE.
Just SHE.
That's a little.
If you wanted it to be
It's a
spelled more interestingly, we could just do XE.
Yes,
it would be
I like
pronounced the
that.
same
I
way.
like that. Yep.
At least then it's pronounced correctly, because I'm pretty sure SHE isn't supposed to be she.
It'd probably be XI actually
no.
for she.
XI.
Yeah, we don't want to
Or
butcher the
SEI.
pronunciation like M. Night's
She,
movie.
yeah. I like that. General She, who is on her way to attack the Earth Kingdom, just coming from the air nomads. And she also just got done attacking my internet router as well.
She.
Wow, it's extensive.
It is. She's everywhere. She's everywhere.
Very thorough.
And so it begins.
Oh no.
All right. So you've
This is what I'm here
discovered.
for.
You've discovered her plans. And now in Act 2, we can steal a valuable item from your powerful foe, discover a terrible truth about location or powerful figure, we defend it, ally, or place from a powerful foe, and we destroyed a valuable item and drew the ire of its owner, and the owner being another powerful foe. What are we thinking? It's Avatar too. We can get goofy with it.
True. Just spitballing here. We stole a means of transportation to try to
Yeah, I
get
was
to the
like-
Earth Kingdom
Did we steal
quicker.
a ship?
I was leaning
I don't know
towards
where
the
we're coming
stealing
from.
Thing too,
Oh yeah.
but I just don't know like what we could steal because I'm still.
Should our
really
means of
new to this,
transportation
but-
be a giant turtle duck?
I was thinking something like that. Like, what
Oh,
if
we
stole
would totally
that?
luck out if we found some great majestic beast that could carry us.
Yeah,
I don't know how common those
Should our
are.
means-
Anyone want to
Well,
go
there-
airbender?
You don't have to. So if anyone's looking at one of the playbooks moves gives you a big animal. I believe it's the
Cool.
Let me just double check. It's the icon. The icon gives an animal companion that is large enough to ride.
For an entire party?
Well, it depends on what it is. There's like flying bisons on there. Maybe we want to go something else because that's kind of, Aang's whole thing. But there's an elephant mandrill. I don't know if
What's
I've ever
a
seen that in the
mandrill?
show. Isn't it like a monkey? Yeah, it's a
Elephant
monkey.
mandrill.
It's a primate.
Yeah, that's
So like we could make that could be big enough to.
That's terrifying.
It's absolutely terrifying.
I'm just looking at pictures of mandrills right now. Trying to picture it mashed up with an elephant.
If you search
tusks.
elephant mandrill, it comes up because it's
Okay.
been in Avatar, so you'll be able to see what just the actual thing looks like. I don't think it'd be able to swim though.
Yeah, we do need.
To figure that out. Well, perhaps though that's a plot thing, right?
Could
Yeah.
we have held? Maybe we cut them off. Maybe we got to a village and we kept it alive, or we defended it, like a key point, like a port or something. There's plenty of ports to choose from on what eventually becomes the Fire Nation colonies. So
Yeah. Okay, so we're down to stealing a valuable item, such as a beast of burden that could carry you all, or defending a port. Oof. Perhaps maybe like the first, like Nick was saying, like a port in the Earth Kingdom. Like maybe this is where the Fire Nation is landing, and you're kicking them out for a little bit. Let's make a decision and move on to the third act here.
I'm having trouble getting my head quickly around some kind of defense that's meaningful without like already enlisting and validating the news that we're bringing to the Earth Kingdom really quickly.
That's a good point.
Or like who we're fighting alongside and how we're able to resist the Fire Nation when they're clearly ready and nobody else in the world should be as ready. But I mean, it's not that it's implausible, but I just can't think of it yet.
I do still like the idea of you guys stealing like something that could carry you across the four nations.
A dragon? This is before all the dragons are dead.
It is before all the dragons are dead.
Ooh, are they alive?
Yeah, they hunted them down in this time
They're in the
period.
100-year war.
Sozin popularized killing them, but Sozin had a pet dragon, so he was a weirdo.
Yeah, a weirdo indeed.
I mean, he then committed mass genocide, so probably a little worse than a weirdo.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's sort of like Hitler painting dogs.
Well, why don't we take the liberty of making our own mashup if we take a steed and
Sure.
the steed can handle all the elements, you know?
So how about this? We'll leave that open. Whoever picks the icon playbook, that's the move that gives you the animal companion. Whoever picks that, they're the ones that get to. What do we think about that?
Cool.
I like that too.
But who is the powerful foe?
Wait, what? Didn't we already say it?
We stole a valuable item from powerful foe.
Oh.
Oh, it's a different powerful foe?
Could be.
It could be. It could also be the same one.
These were supposed to be 3 acts of the same episode?
Yes. Yeah.
You don't typically introduce a new enemy in Act 2 from the one that's been introduced in Act 1, but that's just standard storytelling structure. I guess we don't
I feel
have
like
to do
it's
that.
easy to do a flow, like from like big picture Fire Nation in Act 1 to like smaller picture Fire Nation in Act 2. And somebody from the Fire Nation is in possession of this thing that we steal.
Maybe
Well, we know
General
the Fire
Shi
Nation
sends
used-
someone, a lower ranking officer, so it's like a captain that's after us at the behest of General Shi.
Right.
I like that.
Yes. Yeah. Because these kids are stirring up trouble.
It could even be like a specialized like hit squad, like the Rough Riders, the Rhino Riders, whatever those guys are called. And we could just take their animals. Animal.
I like that. All right. Act 3. Or unless anyone has a name, I put Saikon. Captain Saikon.
Boss.
Saikan.
I like it.
Cool. Act 3. We fought and barely defeated a powerful foe. We narrowly escaped capture by powerful foe. We saved or rescued ally from powerful figure. And we were saved from powerful foe by an ally to their own detriment. What do we
Saved
think?
by a powerful foe to their own detriment? Or
Saved from a powerful
foe by an
By an
ally
ally.
to that ally's detriment. I kind of like that.
Yes.
So we could have like, so we're on our way, right? We're riding our whatever that ends up being, and we're making our way to the Earth Kingdom, or to Ba Sing Se specifically, and we get captured, or we're in a village that gets attacked and we get captured, and someone from the village, somebody that we had made friends with, or was an old ally or an old friend, gets us out away, but maybe they are captured themselves, or maybe they die, or something like that.
Yeah, my heart's already breaking just picturing some like village elder who like causes a distraction so that we can sneak out and they die. And they like just beforehand told us that they believe in us and that we need to get our message out. And now it's like, now we can't mess up.
But make him like an
died.
earthbender. And he takes a stand at the end. He's like, I don't know. I like
Oof.
Yeah, I'm picturing like when you first get introduced to this village and seen like the elders kind of just letting the Fire Nation do whatever, and then maybe your words inspire him to stand up for himself and his village. Who is this older elder?
that. What's his name?
It's an Earth Nation citizen, yeah?
Yeah.
Monroe, are you consulting the generator?
I am. Earth Nation,
I
right?
am.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So many names.
So many names. Hey.
Do we want them to be male, female?
I almost kind of like a female elder just as sort of like a foil to General Shi.
There's SHI. She.
It's a good backstory. XI. We can do.
No, one of the
Okay,
No, we're saying the elder's name is Shi.
one of the Earth
Yeah,
human
so
names
General
is
Shi,
SHI.
and then
She.
Nope.
Elder Shi.
We're gonna move past that one. What about Pan Chen?
Pan Chen.
Glorious.
Unfortunately,
Such a
Pan
lovable
Chen.
character name, you know?
Yes, it is.
So what happens to Pan Chen? Probably captured, we're thinking?
Exploded.
This is a
Johnny.
Johnny. Not Pan Chen.
She gets.
Johnny, this is Avatar: The Last Airbender.
So, okay, exploded off screen.
Exploded out.
Exactly. They have like
kind of
slight,
sorta died.
Heavily implied.
slight charcoaly
It was
burn
very
marks.
unclear. We need to make all character deaths very unclear.
That funny is so.
We don't
No.
say that word. There is no death in
No.
Bossing Say.
You can't
I
say
was
the
just
K
watching.
word.
Oh yeah, you sent us that
Yeah.
compilation, Danny, of the times
I'm
they tried
going
to
to
avoid
end
like
you.
the word.
Permanently.
They will be no more. They will be gone.
Expanded beyond the bounds of their mortal body forever.
Maybe they're like trapped in the spirit world forever.
Nobody cares
Or
about
what
Johnny.
about if she
Maybe
gave
the
you,
characters don't know.
Yeah, I was just about to say if she sort of stopped General Shi and the Fire Nation army, and you guys ran. Perhaps you don't know. So, as best you know, she, isn't around anymore. But you never saw, to be sure.
Yeah.
It was a flurry of dust and earth and
Yeah.
smoke, and it cleared, and they were gone.
You could really imagine, like, she initially had the attitude, Chenpan, not Chenpan, initially had the attitude of like, we should just, these dudes are coming here and they're trying to threaten to kill everybody. If we just like comply, everything's going to be okay. But obviously, as any colonized people would find out, it's not okay. So maybe like a little whisper in your ear and a little like, hey, I don't think it's gonna be all right. And she decides to.
I love it.
and maybe we even try to rough up some firebenders, or we get caught in some altercation with them, and then they capture us or whatever.
Yeah.
And she decides to take a stand and help us get away.
Yeah.
And then we don't know what
I love
happens
it.
to her.
You don't know what happens, and you are now on the road, tasked with going to the Earth King with this information about the Fire Nation. That is our pilot episode. It would end with you sort of like on the road, unsure of what is coming up next, but resolute in what you have decided to do. So now we actually are going to create characters.
Dope.
And the first thing that the book has you do is come up with a name. But I'll start with that. I'm not gonna make you tell me your name, but at some point, gotta let us know the name. We'll probably do names at the end. How about that? So the first thing we're actually gonna do then is pick one of the 6 playbooks in the quick start. There are 6 options. I'm gonna read them just real quickly. I'm hoping you guys have had some looking at them and have some ideas about where you want to go. But the bold fights to live up to their self-image and earn others' trust and confidence. Play the bold if you want to build your reputation and leadership skills. The guardian defends someone close to them, steadfast and watchful. Play the guardian if you want to be the first to see danger coming and the last line of defense. The idealist has a past full of suffering and tragedy that strengthened their beliefs. Play the idealist if you want to awaken the hope in everyone around you. The successor comes from a lineage of powerful but scary figures. Play the successor if you want to struggle against your lineage as it threatens to draw you in. And the hammer is strong and tough, looking for a deserving face to punch. Play the hammer if you want to grapple with what force can and can't solve. The icon comes from an ancient tradition and inherited some serious standards to live up to. Play the icon if you want to be torn between your heart and your destiny. And I should mention too, these aren't going to be the only playbooks in the full game. Avatar is on Kickstarter right now, and there are tons of playbooks being unlocked, but these are the 6 that are available with a quick start. So once you guys have chosen your playbooks, why don't you say it out loud, say what you're thinking, we can talk about it, and then make sure you have that PDF of that playbook open.
I would like to be the hammer.
I would like to be the successor.
I'm leaning towards the icon.
Okay.
I would like to be the idealist.
You gotta create our animal.
Remember, Monroe, no animal in the Avatar world is just one animal. It's always 2. Combined.
Yeah, you just gotta mash up 2 animals together. And it should be big enough that the 5 of you can ride on it.
And I get to choose this, like what they're mixed with.
Yeah, go for it.
They have a list,
Okay.
but let's get crazy with it. Mash a couple
So
animals
this
Look
up
at
together.
the dragonfly
Canon
elephant or
necessarily.
something.
No.
Yeah, I
Typically
was
2
like-
animals, yeah.
Yeah, what Nick was talking about with the dragons, how they were being hunted during this time, right? So before they were gone. I think that would be kind of cool to be able to spend some time with.
Perhaps it's like a lesser dragon, so maybe not like a full dragon, but like a dragon.
Maybe
I don't know, a dragon stork.
A wormling.
maybe
as they would
the
probably
Fire
refer to
Nation
it.
squad or whatever was trying to capture it to like bring back as like a reward or something, and they're like, no, we love animals.
Like a dragon otter.
Ooh. I like that. It's like the most random thing. Dragon.
Does it have the face of an otter? Because I don't
It's
want it to have
dragon,
the
but a
body of an
otter.
otter.
Yeah, it's got like kind of furry scales and.
Special pouch for rocks.
All right. Well, what are the? So we've got an icon. We've got a successor. We haven't heard from Steve or Johnny or Dean.
I said hammer before anybody else said anything.
They did? Did I miss it?
Yeah.
Maybe. I said
And
idealist.
I'll go with the Guardian.
Right. What do we do after playbooks?
Well, sorry. You want to tell me what? I think so. I think Steve's going idealist and Johnny's going hammer.
That is what they said.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. I can hear you now. Yay. I'm assuming I'll be able to hear Steve now too. Man, technology is both a blessing and a curse. It is blurst.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now. Yep. Okay. All right. We've all chosen our playbooks. The next thing you're going to choose is your training. Your training is going to be either one of the 4 elements, or it's going to be weapons or technology. And I will say, since we have chosen the 100 Years of War, I'm cool if someone wants to play an airbender. I think that would be a fun thing to explore, because I mean, that character will probably not be around at some point, and you're the only airbender. So,
to be honest, if you're cool with it, Justin, I actually kind of want to basically play my same character from the one shot the other day.
I love it.
Yes. Osa.
I feel like there's even a lot more to explore with him, which I'm sure we'll get into when we're actually playing. But and as we answer the history questions too, I think that'd be great. So yeah, choose your, and then let us know once you've chosen. So Johnny's gonna be an airbender, and what's everyone else thinking?
I'm thinking Water Nation.
Okay.
I will gladly be a firebender.
Firebender, not with the Fire Nation.
That's a tough role to play, but very cool story already. I'm not with them anymore,
I'm not associated with them.
Boy,
but I do bend fire.
I do. Not by choice.
I do not recommend doing a Google search of chubby.
I'm doing it right.
Now all of our listeners are consigned to that fate, Johnny. Who can resist the curiosity?
I'm not going to do it. I want to know, but I'm not going to do it.
Anyways, I want to do earthbending. Just throwing it out there.
Okay. Monroe, which character sheet were you gonna use? Were you gonna use the yellow one?
Yeah, who's using the yellow one?
Yeah.
Alright, I will use the beautiful purple one.
Okay, so I think Monroe, do you want to be a water bender?
Yeah, that sounds pretty fun.
Cool.
That's great. We've got all the elements, and then we've got Steve. What did you choose?
I would like to be a non-bender
I love it.
from
Do
the
you have
Earth Kingdom.
Do you have like a weapon in mind?
Yes, war fans.
I love it.
Oh, that's cool.
I'm very excited about this.
Are you a Kyoshi warrior?
I
or
am.
A Kyoshi hopeful?
Yes.
Nice.
Although I don't believe I'm allowed to leave the Kyoshi warriors, so the fact that I'm like away from them and with y'all, that's going to be an issue that I have to work on.
Figure that out, but we can figure that out. There's plenty of reasons.
Maybe you're not a fully ascended warrior.
Yeah.
You're just.
We're not all. Does it talk about like the players being master benders or not, or are we all like specifically not master benders?
So I mean, you can do all. If you're a bender, you can do all the basic things a bender can do. And then some of the more advanced stuff. So like, for instance, for a firebender, right? Like you wouldn't be able to do lightning bending unless a master taught you how to do lightning bending. Same with an earthbender and metal bending. So you can do like basic things that other benders can do, but maybe some of the more specialized things you can't do. So it kind of depends. And it's gonna also, like what we're about to do next, which is your fighting style. So your fighting style, you get to pick that. There's not a list to pick that from. This is the thing that makes you stand out from other benders of that same training. So for Danny, for your guardian, let's see. You're doing, who's doing firebending? And who's doing earthbending? Okay. And Nick's doing
Put my name there.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to ask about that. So I'm pretty sure, I feel like you told me that I could do, with Successor, I could do 2 different kinds of training.
Correct. Yep. We'll get to that when we pick moves.
Cool.
So for Danny, for your guardian's firebending, like what makes them a different firebender than other firebenders?
Well, when I was thinking about the Guardian playbook, you talk about them being like steadfast and watchful, and basically like being very defensive. Maybe I'm like a firebender who takes stances and fights more like maybe not specifically in like the specific style of an earthbender, but more similar to like an earthbender. So maybe like I use more just like I summon more like fire walls or more like defensive techniques rather than aggressively striking people with bursts of flame.
Wait, Danny, I feel like I can build off of this here. Because my character concept is what I wanted to roll with was an earthbender who like basically faked a firebending.
Yeah.
And I wanted him to do it because his dad was a firebender and his mom was an earthbender. But he got earthbending. On the flip side of it, you could do something similar where you're an Earth Nation citizen and you know, your father is a firebender, but your mother is not, or whatever combination. Or you could be my sibling. You know, we could do that too.
Maybe that's why my training is more akin to like earthbending techniques.
Like maybe our parents split and we each got one parent, and you got the earthbender, so somehow that just we got trained by the opposite.
We got trained.
So this should be something that's like pretty, like a short phrase, right? So like firewall is a good fighting style, because this is also going to be something that's going to inform one of the moves, which is rely on your skills and training.
Or I can put like defensive for the fighting style. That seems. Should it say like a specific?
It can be defensive.
Or I can do firewall /
I think the more specific you can get with it, the better it's going to be. But a defensive would work too if you're having trouble coming up with something else. What about the rest of you? I see Johnny has chosen something.
I wrote Kung Fu Panda.
You got a big Billy Airbender.
Yep. Oh yeah.
I'm looking. Is there a list of fighting styles?
There's no list. You're coming up with
describing it.
Just whatever you want. I mean, you could just do Kyoshi fan style. You know?
Kyoshi fan style. Yeah. Fan weapon, something like that. Monroe, what do you think makes your waterbenders stand out from other waterbenders? What's something that they can do that not anyone else really can do?
Oh my gosh, I feel like I'm not the right person to ask those detailed questions to.
That's fine. We can brainstorm it.
Yeah, I mean, I think in terms of like where she's coming from, I think I want to go the opposite of what happened last time. So I think instead of her being defensive, I'd like her to be more on the offense. So she's more like looking kind of for a fight type of thing. Feisty gal like that. In terms of what she does, gosh, like I just started the whole thing, so my only connection to waterbending right now is like Katara.
Katara, she's learning it.
Yeah, so it's not really much. So help me, guys. Tell me what I should do.
Ice fists, if you want. If you're always looking for a fight.
Ooh,
like
you could make make ice knuckles.
Ice knuckles.
That is so. Yeah, I like that.
That'd be pretty boss.
Ice knuckles.
I mean, I don't know if we have ice knuckles in Avatar, but we could do it. We can do it.
They're about to be in Avatar
right now.
I mean, there's about to be an otter dragon, maybe. I don't know. So,
guys, this is our imagination. We can make whatever we want.
Don't try to liberate my mind, Game Master.
Who's gonna stop us? Nickelodeon?
They might.
I mean,
they might.
They could, technically.
But then we'll have to just fight Nickelodeon in the context of this show.
Okay. Cool.
Once we defeat the
I just
Fire
did a
Nation.
Google image search for otter dragon, and there's some cool stuff.
Sure is.
And some really weird stuff.
While Monroe thinks
Don't look too
of...
close.
Image search for
Yeah,
otter
no, thank you,
dragon.
Johnny. While Monroe thinks of what to do for waterbending, I just want to throw out another possibility, which could be like an owl dragon. The head of an owl that can turn its head all the way around and stuff. I don't know. I'm just picturing the feather / scale aesthetic and thinking it's cool. Anyway, just
That's
thinking.
fine. That's cool. We got some options. We'll get to that.
We didn't decide that yet. I thought it was.
Well, no, it's really your choice. It's
totally
whatever
up to you.
want.
It's going to be your companion. So.
Well, I think I'd want like something more like water, so I was going for the otter.
No, go for it.
Yeah, that's true. The water.
Yeah, that's cool.
Practical.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Foolish
All right,
me.
so we've got all our fighting styles. We've got Kyoshi Fan Warrior. We've got a Kung Fu Panda Airbender. Ice Knuckles for waterbending. It looks
You
like
going to stick with that, Monroe?
I am. I
Cool.
really like it.
exploding rocks as an earthbender, and then like firewalls on defense. I dig it. Now the next thing we got to do is we got to pick our backgrounds. You can pick up to 2 of them. There's 6 options. There's military, monastic, outlaw, privileged, urban, and wilderness. And again, this is not going to give you any mechanical benefits. This is more narrative and flavor, but it will influence what happens when you ask me if we roll relying on your skills and training. This might come up. So, somebody who has no time spent in an urban environment would not be relying on their skills and training to do something urban related, for instance. So you can pick up to 2 of these.
I'm gonna go with outlaw. Is that in the right area? That I think I'm looking at the right thing. It's training.
Yeah, it should be like right under training. Under
Yeah,
all the
Outlaws on the
stats.
list.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, that's his background.
Yep. Background is
Yeah.
under background. Yep. That's where we're at.
Okay, so
You're right.
I said so. Okay.
And once you've put it in, why don't you just give us all a little preview what you've chosen?
Where would I put that in? Oh, background. You got it. Thank you.
Yeah.
Because she's pretty much on the offense all the time, I think that, and I was doing some research before I showed up here. There's not really that much known about Foggy Swamp around this time, on this era.
Yeah.
So I would think that she would probably not have a lot of military training or anything like that. So she'd be on her own a lot, right? You know, there's not really much known. But also, like, anything goes either. Like, she's not...
True.
No one knows anything about Foggy Swamp. So I'm going to say she's like an outlaw. She's taking the law into her own hands with her ice knuckles and her otter dragon. And
Yes.
she's just trying to find a way to survive in the world at this point.
I'm so
Nice.
So
happy
she
you
goes on this
chose.
adventure with you guys.
I'm so happy you chose Foggy Swamp. All right, the rest of you, like a quick one sentence, your background.
Yeah, I did urban and monastic. Monastic is obvious because he's a air nomad. But I was thinking that he'd be from Ba Sing Se, like originally, and before he was found by the air nomads, and so he's got that city boy in him.
I dig it.
I chose military and privileged. So I'd like to have two layers to this. Privileged in the sense that raised by like a wealthy family on Kyoshi Island that I just wanted to get away from. And they thought that becoming a Kyoshi warrior would straighten me out, but then I kind of ran away from that too. So I've tried to escape my parents by becoming a Kyoshi warrior, and you know, if you do that, you theoretically escape their expectations of you regarding like family, like what you carry on as far as legacy, because like you have a call, a vocation. But then I ran away from that as well, so I'm a double runaway.
Aren't we all?
Aren't we all?
Anyone else?
I'm still Nick. Are we sticking
Yes.
to the idea of us being siblings?
I kind of really like it.
too. Okay.
I thought one of us could do urban and one of us could do wilderness. Like one parent
Yeah.
like prefers like a parent split, and we get like the reverse version of our bending. So we each have like this very unique form of bending, but also like one of us experienced like city life and one of us experienced like wilderness. But I think we should share like military. Like both of our parents were like warriors and like warrior-minded people. So we were both like trained to fight, but like in very different ways and in very different settings.
Perfect. I love it. Well then,
Which one do you want? Dan?
I
You
chose
want the
wilderness and
urban kid
outlaw.
Okay, cool. I did urban and military.
At least you don't have to hear mom and dad argue about where to live anymore.
Yeah.
The age-old debate: do we want to live in the city or out in the outskirts?
then we got to pick our demeanors. So right under background, just like a word that summarizes their demeanor. The playbook has some options if you're struggling, but you can also just make up your own. Totally make up your own.
Definitely gonna search right now.
And once you've done that, the last thing we have to do before we get into like some of the mechanical stuff and backstory stuff is if you scroll back up to the top of your character sheet, you'll see your stats. And your stats come from the playbook you've chosen. You do get to add +1 to any one of those 4 stats. But other than that, they are determined by your playbook. So once you got that, let me know when you've got all your stats in there, and then we will move on to sort of the meat of that, and we'll have to go through it pretty quickly, I think.
I put Spacey.
I love it. Spacey.
Spacey/dreamer.
I put stubborn and introvert.
I put modestly prideful.
Of course.
Should I put immodestly prideful?
Oh, it's up to you. I'm gonna have my
Pridefully
character.
modest.
So with my character, I really wanted him to have like an internal kind of debate of like, is he Earth Nation? Is he Fire Nation? And like, should I claim these heritages? Do I have a right to? But I also still feel pride in being connected to both of them, despite what one of them has done. So how do I
Maybe I'll just
resolve
write
that?
like grieved in guilt.
All right, we'll figure it out.
Yeah, I put playful and excessive.
Love it. All right, add that +1. You can even take some time to think about it, but I think we'll move on to the next part. Every playbook has what's called a feature description, and sort of your featured playbook move. You're gonna have to make a choice with it too. So we're gonna try and go through it real quickly, and see if we can get through it all. So we'll start with Steve's ID list. So you have witnessed something that has caused you to commit to a code. So you got to pick 3 from that list, and that is the code that you live up to. If you break that code, you have to mark a condition, and anytime somebody sees you living up to your code, you get to put them down as an ally. But first we got to figure out what those 3 codes are. So I'll let you think about that, what your 3 codes are, and we'll move on to
This is
John's.
under playbook moves.
It's on the player character sheet. If
Okay.
you scroll down about halfway, there's feature choices.
Gotcha.
Yep. Johnny, your hammer has an adversary that to them represents everything that is wrong with injustice and tyranny and all those things. So who is your adversary, and what is your goal for your adversary?
My adversary I put is General Shi, and my goal is to can my goal be to like capture, depose, or restrain them, or do I have to pick one?
I think you have to pick one of them. Well, let's talk it out. What's your?
I'll just say depose for now.
Okay. All right. We got Monroe's icon. You have a burden or tradition. You're the icon to some tradition, and so you've got this huge responsibility on your back. And so you are going to need to choose 3 responsibilities that are placed on you from your burden, and then 3 prohibitions that you can't do.
Okay. So, Nick, with this whole dragon thing, during this time, do people know that dragons are being hunted down, or is this something that we find out towards the end of the era?
Well, I think the rest of the world probably wouldn't find out, but in the Fire Nation, Sozin literally is like, you should all go kill dragons, and then I'll give you the name dragon as like an honorary title if you kill a dragon.
Okay,
so in the Fire Nation, it's known that Sozin wants dragons dead. I don't know how much that would have penetrated outside of the Fire Nation.
Okay. So
Maybe someone came to kill dragons in your little area, so you know specifically because of experience.
That's true. Okay, yeah, we can go with that. Like her burden, or her, so that she needs. Let me read this. Justin, did you say that I needed 1 responsibility and 3?
3 of each. 3 responsibilities
3
and
of
3
each.
prohibitions. Yep.
So one of the responsibilities is to help protect this dragon. Because let's just say someone from Fire Nation tried to, or was successful at killing another one nearby, and that so she has some inside info with that.
So perhaps we could call that, so of the feature choices, perhaps we could call that safekeeping records and relics.
Regarding nature.
Yeah.
And as far as her other responsibilities, what is can you like explain exactly what responsibilities are I'm allowed
How that
to like
works
have?
in the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, so if you're on the feature choices, which I think is column 41, the list there.
You're just
But
picking those.
Yep, you're picking those, and
Oh. Okay. I didn't scroll down far enough.
no worries. There's so many columns that it's hard to.
Okay, so I think protecting a sacred site, I'm going to say Foggy Swamp. I don't know much about it, so feel free to correct me.
No, it is a
It's
sacred
not
site.
Yeah, it's unknown for a reason.
Yep.
Right. So one of her other responsibilities is to protect Foggy Swamp and all their information, their secrets and everything. And as far as a third one, I like that she's searching for ancient artifacts, but I feel like I have to do a lot more additional research to figure out like what can she search for. What was the overall goal of our squad here? I'm trying to. That was like.
Well, your personal responsibilities don't have to necessarily align.
Yeah, I know, but I just want to know like what is it that the squad's goal is?
Oh, to go warn the Earth Kingdom of the impending invasion. The sort of already started invasion, but to get there as quickly as possible.
Okay.
See
Well,
what
then let's go with the safekeeping of records and relics in Foggy Swamp. So she's got a lot of responsibility with her area and her prohibitions. Ooh, she's a teenager, right? So let's like have her promise to never fall in love. That's probably gonna be tested. Never run from a fight because she always starts it.
For sure. That's fair.
But she also has some sort of morality here, so she'll never betray someone's trust. So once you have it, she's your girl. She's good.
Okay.
Oh wait, no, there's like never share secrets of your Oh, I think that's gonna break with the squad. She's gonna have to tell somebody something.
And it's my job as the GM to push these prohibitions. Like I'm gonna try and present scenarios in which you want to break them. So it should be hard.
Let's can we scratch out the never betray someone's trust and put in never share secrets of your tradition? That way, like she has something to kind of conflict with her responsibilities.
I like it.
Right in episode 1.
Exactly.
All right. Nick, you've got to choose the domain and where your family is trying to reach into. You come from an infamous family. What'd you choose there?
So I did military command and land ownership. So my father was part of the Fire Nation military. Sort of was kind of a part of the original assault that Sozin tried, but then Roku stopped, and then just kind of ended up living in the Earth Kingdom. Still somewhat connected to the Fire Nation. Obviously, as the attacks started, he also kind of moved into land ownership to sort of like, he probably knew what was going on. I don't know. I'd rather not ask. It's one of those conversations you just don't want to have with your parent. So he moved into land ownership and kind of became, wealthy and powerful in that sense. So he, in that vein, he has access to, resources. I said high technology, but for this era, it's not that high.
Sure, it's as high technology as this era is.
Right. And so that's why I have access to things like blasting jelly and explosives and
that makes sense.
Very flammable things that I'm going to be using. And then, the other side of it is the cold hard cash.
Danny, as the guardian, you got to pick a ward.
I was thinking that, Nick, how do you pronounce your character's name?
It's Shenao.
Yeah, I was thinking Shenao would be a good one. Considering we're siblings.
I
Yeah.
like it.
All right. Moving on. We've got at some point you guys are going to need to pick 2 playbook moves. On the playbook moves tab, you can find your playbook, and you'll choose 2 of those moves. For now, though, I wanna hop into the history questions first and see if we can do the history and connection stuff first, and we can always come back to the moves. I'm gonna start with Steve. So your character's name is Rensong, yeah?
Yes, that's right.
Okay. Rensong. What tragedy befell Rensong at a young age? This should be probably just like a sentence or 2, real short, real sweet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I don't think it needs to be anything other than psychological tragedy. So I think the clear message for me as a kid was, you will only be a part of this family if you do exactly as we say and follow in our footsteps. So I think that message came through. You could flip that and say, on the dark side of things, that maybe my father actually forbid me to do anything, and said that I wouldn't even have an inheritance unless I did something. And that's when I left to become a Kyoshi warrior. And they were like, let him work it out. He's young, he'll come back. And then I was like, nah, I'm leaving this too. So I'd say the traumatic event was just that parent dynamic.
Okay. Who do you hold the most responsible for the tragedy and why? It sounds like maybe your father.
Yeah, let's say that there might be equal partners in it, but let's say that Dad was the voice that's still echoing in my head.
You gotta give me a name of this person.
Yeah. Yeah. Dad is I, Mom is Chen.
Okay.
A-I-C-H-E-N. I and Chen.
Okay. Who helped you through your grief, and what did they teach you?
Well, I'd say I did get something out of the Kyoshi Warriors. So, helped might be a strong word. I'm going to say that they told me how to stuff my grief, which was something, and to give me something else to focus on in my training.
Specific person that helped with that?
Sure, I need somebody with a name generator. Kyoshi Warrior name.
Nevo.
Sounds good.
Okay. And then what symbol, heirloom, or mark do you carry to remind you of what you lost?
What I lost. I'm gonna say I'm a latchkey kid, and I still have the key to my parents' house.
I love it.
Not that I think of using it for that purpose, but I think of opening new doors. Because I feel like what I lost was freedom.
All right, let's move on to Johnny's hammer. What's the name?
Osa.
Okay, so what injustice has driven Osa to use his strength for good?
I'm just going with the destruction of the air temples.
Yeah, that makes sense. Who represents the kind of positive strength and force you want to embody?
I'm gonna say Monkey Atso.
Okay. I like that. And then who tried their best to teach you restraint, calm, and thoughtfulness?
So I'm really building this off of the character I played in that one shot. So this is a monk Pasang.
Okay.
He's one of the elders at the Southern Air Temple.
And then what fragile trinket or heirloom do you keep and protect?
A flute my sister gave me.
Who is now passed, yes? Probably. She's an... you think she was also at the air temples?
She was a non-bender in the Earth Kingdom. So
you're gonna have to give me
she's probably
a
alive.
name for your sister then.
Let's say Kino, Kino.
It's adorable. Okay, Monroe. What is the name of your character?
My character's name is Liko. Leko.
I love it. It sounds like a leak, which is like a small
Water.
So. Yeah, I love it.
Sounds like a leak.
Who was Liko's chief mentor, teaching you the nature of your burden and its value?
All right.
Oh, I skipped one. I skipped. What tradition do you represent as its icon? Why can't you set down the role?
Yeah, can you guys help me with that? What's like, what do they mean by like, what tradition do you represent as its icon? Can that just be like anything, or is that something that has to be very specific to the tribe?
It could be like probably specific, but it doesn't. It could. So you're talking about the Foggy Swamp. It could be something like the tradition of like the keeper of the Foggy Swamp. You know,
The Foggy Swamp way.
the way of the Foggy Swamp.
Right.
Because there's that guy who keeps the swamp and isn't really of the. Yes, no, this is the vine guy.
Yeah, the vine guy. Why can't you put it down, set down the role of sort of protecting the Foggy Swamp way?
It goes against her. It goes against her prohibitions, I guess that's right. Because like, can that kind of tie in there where like she has?
Yeah.
I want her to be quite mysterious, but I'm just gonna say that like she can't. She already made a vow to herself that she's not gonna share the ways of the Foggy Swamp.
All right, who is your chief mentor teaching you the nature of your burden and its values?
Let's just say that she has like a foster. Like, does it have to be like a chief, or it could just be someone that she sees like as a chief, like someone who's just higher than she is and she respects, like a mentor.
Chief mentor. Yeah, it can be a mentor for sure.
So let's just say that she doesn't have any parents, so she was fostered by a woman, and we'll call her, let's see, generator, come on. Name her Konu. Konnu. And was teaching her the ways of how to be, of how to survive in this world on your own and being alone. And the burden of that is the loneliness. But at the same time, it teaches you how to take care of yourself and look out for yourself.
I love it. Who showed you even with the weight of your burdens, you could still find ways to play?
Let's say her dragon otter. Let's say that her dragon otter has like a personality that just kind of lets her put down her guard.
Do you have a name for your dragon otter yet?
Oh. All right. Since we're all going to be writing this thing, I think it's only fair that we all brainstorm a name together. Let's all name this dragon otter. It's not like she or him or something. That's just
Yeah.
Ryu.
I like Ryu. Ryu?
How are you spelling that?
R-U-U.
Just Ryu.
I like that.
All right.
Rue's a pretty
use
cool
the-
dragon
I use the
otter
Foggy
name.
Swamp
Otter
tribe name
dragon
generator.
Cool. Ryu.
I do like it, Rue. And then, what token of your burden and tradition do you always carry?
Does a Foggy Swamp have like a sigil or something. Trying to do something different than last time, where she's not just carrying like some necklace or something. But I was thinking maybe like some sort of tattoo.
Yeah, I
Foggy Swamp
found the
emblem.
thing. I'm gonna drop in the chat.
Okay. So let's say that she has that on her. She has that. She wouldn't put it out there like for everyone to see. So I think there's. Yeah, she has it hidden somewhere on her back. Let's say.
Okay. Okay. All right. And then let's move on to the successor. Nick, what is your character's name?
My character's name is Now Launcher.
Okay.
And
yeah, who is the current head of your lineage, and how do you love and frustrate each other?
Naojo is my father. I'm the current head of my lineage. We love and frustrate each other because father and son. But I'm an Earthbender, and he's not super jazzed about that. So it's for the
Makes sense. What closest member of your lineage wants to revolutionize it?
basically my mother and brother, my brother, more specifically, want me to get me away from my father. That's the to separate me basically from my lineage.
What do you carry that reminds you of the place most associated with your lineage?
One of the few things that my father just outright gave me was a ring with the Fire Nation emblem, and I wear that. I keep that with me.
And then what part of your lineage's identity is important and valuable to you as a person?
The culture and history of the Fire Nation is something that I'm genuinely proud of and proud to be connected to, with obvious reservations.
Especially
or
now.
feelings of guilt, especially now.
And then last but not least, we've got Danny's guardian. We got what's your guardian's name?
Rozak. Rozak Launcher.
Same last name as Nick's character. What pushed you to assume responsibility for the people you care about?
I put down rescuing Shaynao from Naojo, our father.
Oh, interesting. We'll have to dig into that a little bit more at some point, like how that rescue happened. Who have you protected for so long, but maybe they don't need you anymore?
I put down my mother, Sunfen, and the reason being is I said that as I progressed in my firebending training, I hurt her, and now I don't feel worthy to be her protector.
Dang. Who used to be in your circle of trust before they betrayed you?
I put down that I had an old friend named Dosa who joined in the efforts of the Fire Nation, and that's why I don't like them anymore.
Interesting. And then what tattered garment or adornment reminds you of those you protect or fail to protect?
I put a hairpin for my mom.
Oh, cute. Alright. We're going to loop on back to Ren's song. We're going to do your connection question. So now that you've heard sort of the history of the other ones, your first connection question is, I recognize some of the pain I have felt inside of blank, and I'm going to help them. And all these connection questions you have to answer with another PC, another player character.
So far, it feels like... Well, who else would say that they're living under some degree of burden from their parents? I feel like that might have come through with the bros the most, right?
Probably.
The launchers.
Yeah.
So I got to pick a launcher. Yeah, let's go with Chenao. Am I saying that correctly?
Yep, Chena.
Chenao.
You just call me Che.
Let's go with Che.
And then blank frustrates me so much when they act without thinking about the consequences.
Does that feel like a fit for Osa? Am I reading you right, Johnny?
I think definitely, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Liko was another one that seemed like she was.
Especially if Liko's going to be mysterious and hard to read. I'm going to be like, what's happening? But depends on what you do, I guess. Outlaw.
Johnny, we're going to move on to Osa. Blank has a way to solve problems with words instead of fists. It's really impressive.
So I'm not sure about this one. I mean, who feels like their character is particularly diplomatic?
Probably mine.
Yeah. And that's who I will say.
Okay.
Cool.
And then I worry that Blank won't be able to hold their own when things get tough, so I'm going to toughen them up.
Yeah, I'm saying Ren's song for that one.
Ouch.
Because not because of being a non-bender, but because of claiming to be a Kyoshi warrior, and who the heck has ever heard of a male Kyoshi warrior? So I don't think he's telling the truth.
Oh, that's good.
It's going to be rough. It's going to be some rough conversations coming our way.
All right, Liko. Blank seems to not fully understand what it means that I'm the icon of my tradition, and I kind of like feeling free around them.
Yeah, who's a little oblivious to stuff like that in their character traits?
On the surface, my character definitely is. I think he notices more than people give him credit for, and that's by design, but he would definitely not seem to get it.
Okay, so let's go with, is it Oso?
Mm-hmm.
Let's go
Osa.
with Osa.
OSA.
Excuse me. Sorry. Osa seems to not fully understand.
And then Blank makes me feel better about my responsibilities and my burden with a smile and a few kind words.
Say, is it Nick? What's your character's name? Che? Yeah. Say him. You're the successor, right? So you've got a lot of, he seems like to understand responsibilities and burdens.
Che, now you, Blank has major concerns, fears, or grievances with my lineage and with me by proxy.
Who's concerned with me being directly tied to the Fire Nation military?
That would be me. Yeah.
Well,
I think that would be, Doesn't, because they end up, we have like a strict rule, right, against like Fire Nation, and then like, don't we end up aiding them at some point towards the end? Foggy Swamp?
What? No.
I thought I read that somewhere in the history that like at first we have like this really big thing against the Fire Nation. Maybe I read it wrong or something.
No, the Foggy Swamp kind of is never really touched by the Fire Nation because they can't really penetrate it. It's like too wild. So they don't really have to deal with the Fire Nation. Also, like, because you said that I make you feel better about your burdens. I don't know that I would be the one.
Well, that'd make an interesting dynamic, don't you think? Like, he can also make her like feel good, but also like
you just don't trust.
One of the reasons why. Yeah,
but you're still Fire Nation.
That's fair.
Yeah, we're gonna make unless there's another character out there that would have a problem with him.
I like it.
I feel like we'll all take turns having problems with you. But
Yep, I'll answer that, and then Danny, if you want to answer yours real quickly too.
So I put Shay Now is my word. They need me to have their back. End of story. So hope they're okay with that. And the last one was Blank looks like they're more than capable without my help. I'm glad some of us can take care of ourselves. I put Liko because Ice Fists are amazing.
Wait a second. Did Che go to his second connection and I can't see it?
No, it's so Blank seems free of their past in a way I wish I could let go of mine. Hearing them talk about the future feels amazing. And I kind of want to pick Ren because he didn't like, he's not like burdened by it because he just ran away from it. And it's like,
hey, I mean, I can tell you how I did it step by step.
Che's just like taking notes, like, yeah.
Dude, just run away.
like this. It's kind of what I'm doing now, but I'm still feeling
I'm living my
Still
best life right now.
All right. So I think that's all the connections.
All right. So that is the only other thing we'll need to do at some point is pick 2 moves for each of your playbooks, but we can do that another time. But that's what a 0 session or character creation session looks like for Avatar Legends games. We hope you enjoyed what you heard. We've released our first 2 episodes at the same time, so if you're like to jump straight into the action, you can just do that. But please rate and review us, and whenever you listen to podcasts, give us a 5-star review. And I heard that if you give us a 5-star review, Nick will pretend to be your significant other and get you out of a single meeting. So we'll see you next episode. Bye.
Avatar Legends was developed and produced by Magpie Games. The worlds of Avatar The Last Airbender and Avatar The Legend of Korra are property of Viacom CBS. Intro music is Dizu by Senbei. Outro music is Tokyo Funk by LATG Music. Logo and art by Cate and Matthew Mahnke. You can find more of their work at pomakin.com. Link in the show